Hello and welcome to another edition of What Does the Giraffe Say Media with me, Kathleen Ritorne. We're an organisation that aims to reconnect people in conservation by holding live interviews on social media. Today, I am very happy because I am joined by Alex Ngabirano, and he is the founder for Bwindi Development Network. He's also been awarded the Disney Conservation Fund winner for 2020 and is extremely passionate about his work, in particular with mountain gorillas and transforming poachers' lives. So, Alex, if I could just ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself and why you wanted to protect mountain gorillas.
Thank you, Catherine, for this great opportunity to speak to the audience. Once again, I'm Alex Ngabirano, born and raised in the Bwindi Local Community. I have worked in conservation, saving mountain gorillas for 16 years. Later, I founded the Bwindi Development Network purposely to save mountain gorillas and other wildlife animals by engaging frontline communities in wildlife conservation and reforming traditional wildlife animal poachers for sustainable livelihood activities. Why protecting mountain gorillas? They are the source of income. The government and local communities get revenue. The community's income improved by being employed, getting employment opportunities. Again, gorillas act as an umbrella of species for habitat, helping to protect other wildlife animals in the area. Gorillas also act as for tourist attraction, for research purposes, and so on.
And have you always been fascinated by gorillas? Was it an animal that you loved when you were younger?
Yes, of course. Growing up in the Bwindi community, and that's when actually also why I picked interest to become a conservationist in the area, because I was always inspired by gorillas and other primates in Bwindi. And I'm very much proud that I'm part of the efforts that is supporting to protect the current gorilla population in the Bwindi National Park.
And one of the things I love about your organization is that you turn poachers' lives around. So you've started a reformed poacher center. Can you talk us a little bit about how this works, why you decided to do this?
Thank you so much. This is the process that went through. One, I did a research around Bwindi and found out that gorillas are becoming victims by falling into snare traps, which are actually being set to target other antelopes, but gorillas also become victims. And later, I realized that no, we needed to start this reform poach project. Of course, I had information, I'd done a research. Then later, I had to call community meetings, of course, including the local partners, like Bwindi National Park, local government representatives, among others. The exercise had to continue through various meetings held. Poachers surrendered and voluntarily handed over their poaching tools. That was the first 10 of its kind at the beginning. And the first 10 who reformed joined us and continue sensitizing others because they knew them better than me. And of today, we are reaching 300.
And how do you encourage the poachers then to change their attitude? What's the motivation for them to do so? What do they get out of becoming part of your project?
One, they are being followed up at their homes, sensitizing them and empowering them in livelihood activities. We call them for meetings and workshops so that they see themselves as being valued in the community. And of course, they are given livelihood projects like livestock and others.
And I know you also have the tourism side of it as well. So they work alongside tourists. What sort of stuff are they doing with the tourists?
We are happy that we formed the first Bwindi Reform Poachers Center in Uganda, which unites them as reform poachers. But at the same time, at the same center, the reform poachers offer traditional poaching experience to tourists, students at a course, which actually also goes directly into their livelihoods.
And typically, how is the illegal wildlife trade viewed by communities, and what are the challenges here?
The community definitely view it in two ways. One is risky, another one is beneficial. The risk part, of course, when they are in the forest, they're likely to lose life, because they may be harmed by animals in the forest. Once they are caught by the Uganda Wildlife Authority staff, because there is a Uganda Wildlife Act that's set to protect the wildlife animals in the area. They also face the challenge of being taken to the prison. So that's a risk part. But the other side of beneficial, they get quick rich food.
Sorry, could you say that last part again? I just missed that last bit. So what was the beneficial?
The beneficial is they get quick riches.
I'm sure.
And at the same time, food.
And then what's the punishment for them if they do get caught? Are they typically, do they go to prison? Do they get a fine, or do they normally just get away with what's happening?
They do both. They get imprisonment and also pay fines.
So I guess I think with what your project is doing is it's allowing people then to, instead of going to prison or losing money, they can then come and work as part of your project and earn a living where they don't have that threat hanging over them. What kind of feedback have you had from the poachers since they've transformed?
One, they encouraging others to reform as well, because they don't wish the fellow, I may say, the fellow from poachers to be taken to the prison or pay fines, which is not possible for them. So they encourage them to reform from poaching and join them to start promoting wildlife conservation. Though they also need to keep being followed up and supported so that they be engaged.
And another thing that I really like about your organization as well is it has many different aspects to it, but you also put a lot of support to the widows and children in Bwindi. Why are they so marginalized, and how do you support them with this?
the widows and children are marginalized because they are all dependents. The children depend on their parents or guardians, and the widows also depend on their husbands. So the moment the husband passes on, then they remain being marginalized. This is because most of them are not educated, they don't have access to job employment, having no businesses, among others. But
And then
still we engage them. Yes, we still engage them to, like the children are engaged in conservation technical writings, so that they grow up having the element of conservation, and also exchanging their culture and conservation activities with others, also keep them engaged. And whereas the widows also engaged in making crafts, of which we try to look for their market.
And then kind of with that, obviously you were very reliant then on tourism for helping the widows, for helping the poachers transform. How has COVID impacted you guys in terms of tourists coming in?
Yeah, COVID-19 pandemic has actually, like last year, 2020, no tourists was allowed to come in the area. So tourism reduced in the area, reduced staff, enrollment in most of the organization, government network, and their welfares. Reduced activities like trainings, mass sensitizations, poaching also increased. That was the most challenging part. Poaching increased, and unfortunately, last year we lost our friendly male gorilla Rafiki, who died over poaching in self-defense, though wasn't targeted. And this is because the frontline communities living around protected conservation areas depend on ecotourism.
So I guess when the tourism dried out, they had to resort to drastic measures to try and look after themselves and their family.
Yes, and that's what we are doing to make sure that we keep following them up, and they don't lose hope. So following them up is very key.
Excellent. I have a question coming through from Stacey Saddlefield. She's based in America. Hi, Stacey. And she is asking, how can someone support the widows and the children through your organization?
Stacey, you're welcome. You can support children and widows through our organization. We have a website, www.bwindidevelopmentnetwork.org. You can visit it and get more information and contacts. And we are based on ground in the Bwindi area where actually personally I'm born. So these things will reach them like any other support that we've been receiving.
Excellent. Thank you, Stacey, for that question. Now, you've been working in the industry for quite a while. I know before you had quite a big focus on public health as well. Why do you feel like public health is so important for conservation?
Public health is very important to conservation. It is an approach that connects environment, development, and health. So when we have a safe and healthy community, the frontline communities living around protected areas, then we have the better and safe wildlife animals in the forest. E.g., mountain gorillas are close to human being. Most of the diseases that affects people also affects mountain gorillas.
Yeah. And so then how do you combat that with the communities? Do you hold workshops? What sort of things are you doing here?
Yeah, with the communities and the workshops we've been having around, they're showing some better results. For example, gorillas are able to, when they're outside the park and in the community, they are protected.
And also, I guess with COVID, if a human can get COVID, a gorilla can get COVID as well. Are the tours still running to go and see the gorillas? And do you have to follow strict measures to make sure that they don't get sick?
Yes, actually, that's what most of the main activities I've been doing during this COVID-19 pandemic. Following up the communities, sensitizing them to respect SOPs to make sure that to reduce transmission of disease between human to human and human to gorillas. Likewise, when tourists are coming to Uganda, they have to follow the same. And when they're in the forest viewing mountain gorillas, or call it tracking gorillas, they're able to respect a distance that is being recommended by a number of stakeholders, about 10 meters away, in order to reduce the transmission of diseases.
And as well, we're talking about, sorry, continue.
Yes, as of now, tourists are allowed in the country, but they have to respect the SOPs.
They're allowed in the country, but they have to what, sorry?
Respect operating standards procedures.
For sure, yeah. And since your time in conservation, is there anything that you know now that you wish you knew at the start when you were setting up? And any advice to those looking to follow in your footsteps?
Yeah. Yes, at the beginning, I knew teamwork could work, but it wasn't varied at all. But now I understand that without teamwork, that's can move on smoothly. Partnerships, at the beginning, well, I was like, maybe alone can work, maybe one or two, but to realize at the end, you need more partners to join. Then investment is key, which I never saw much at the beginning until when I reached time or get started failing to get donor funding. I was like, yeah, we need to have products like or enterprise that can boost organization. The another thing that I never thought about was after reforming the culture, they will never think of going back and watch. But now I've come to know that they have to be followed up in order to complete the
I just didn't catch the last part. So you were saying by reforming poachers, you need to do what, sorry?
Needed to be followed up. I never knew them that once they are reformed, once they surrender and hand over their poaching tools voluntarily, that they will completely think of going back. They will never think of going back. But of recently and during COVID, I came to understand that they are not followed up and they keep being engaged in wildlife conservation and development activities, they can easily go back.
That's brilliant. It obviously shows that the work that you're doing is working if they're determined not to go back to the old way of life. And for any youngsters that are watching, what advice would you give to them to starting out on their conservation journey?
Yes, I would give advice to the people who are starting conservation journey, organizations. One, to make research. When you have enough information in the area of operation and where you're heading, it keeps you moving on. Two is commitment. When you start something, it's better to keep on and work as a team and engage patterns. Identification of a source of revenue support as you move on is very key. It's also much better to keep on track on your mission and vision.
I love that. I completely agree that you just need to have your mission and your vision and your passion and keep going forward. Well, I've only got one more question left. If anyone's watching back home and you would like to pop a question to Alex, then please do put it into the comments section and I will put it towards him. If you're watching this and it's not live, but you still would like to ask Alex or myself a question, again, just pop it in the comments section and one of us will get back to you. So we've had some lovely feedback, Alex, as we've been talking, lots of support for your work. I always like to try and end on a positive note. So I was wondering what your favorite success story was.
My success story is that one I'm very much proud and happy that I'm part of the efforts supporting the protection of the mountain gorillas, which increased from 880 to 1,063, of which Bwindi National Park has 43%. That's a very big achievement for me and being part of the efforts. I'm very happy that the first community sensitization meeting I held with local community around Bwindi, 10 immediately reformed from poaching and surrendered and handed over their poaching tools voluntarily. I'm happy that I'm one of the first individuals from Uganda who thought of creating the Bwindi Reform Poachers Center in Uganda, where poachers meet and introduce their traditional poaching to tourists as a source of income to improve their lives. Personally, I've supported the reform poachers by giving them income generating projects, which I'm really proud of. During COVID-19 pandemic, I never stopped. First, I've been going to the community to train them so that they understand that wildlife, they are there in the habitat. It's we who are supposed to protect them from getting diseases and also not killing them. I'm happy that my work have been recognized internationally, reaching at the level of winning conservation awards. I will only give courage to the public that conservation in this world cannot happen without the support of the local community. We need to engage the frontline communities in wildlife conservation and save the wildlife animals for the coming generation.
I completely agree. I mean, you're doing such a great job, Alex, with the work that you're doing, and I'm so pleased that you're getting recognised and appreciated for exactly what you are doing. I couldn't agree more with you as well when you say that conservation cannot happen without communities. I completely agree that it takes a village to protect conservation. Okay, well, as I say, we've had some lovely, awesome feedback coming through, lots and lots of support for the work you're doing. Is there anything that you'd like to say before we say goodbye?
First of all, I want to say thank you with the EGRAF organization for giving me this kind of opportunity to speak to the audience, the global. I still want to tell the audience that conservation needs action now. In order to conserve the endangered and other primates for the next generation.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much, Alex, for coming on, and thank you everyone back home for watching and supporting and for all your lovely comments. We really do appreciate every single one of them. And if you are watching this and you watching it later, then please do, as I say, still like, comment and share. The more people that see these interviews, the more awareness we can raise for the incredible work people are doing in conservation around the world. And please also do head over to the Facebook pages of the organisations and like, comment and share on those as well, because again, the more people that see, the more people can be made aware. So thank you so much, everyone, for coming on and watching the show, and enjoy the rest of your day.